Hello everyone. We at Team Enlight brings to you Enbreezen, the daily news analysis program to help you sail through the UPSC Civil Services examination. This is the list of topics that are taken for today's discussion. First one is S400 Triumph, second is Global Hunger Index, third is few women empowerment schemes, and finally Bijli Ulsav. Let's start with the first topic, that is S400 Triumph. So, what is S400 Triumph missile system? S400 Triumph missile system, otherwise known as SA-21 Growler by NATO, is a long-range mobile and surface-to-air missile system. So, what are surface-to-air missiles? They are cruise missiles. Keep in mind, they are cruise missiles. Surface-to-surface missiles are known as ballistic missiles. So, that is important. So, surface to air missile system, that is S400 Triumph, and it has an operational range of almost around 400 km. And it is considered one of the world's most advanced air defense system that can engage all types of aerial targets such as aircraft, ballistic and cruise missiles and unmanned aerial vehicles. And it can track 100 airborne targets including super fighters such as American built F-35 and engage 6 of them simultaneously. And it is a successor to the S-300 system and entered into operational service in 2007, and in 2015 it was deployed in Syria by Russia to protect its military assets and has also been deployed in Crimea. And this system comes equipped with 4 types of missiles. One is short range up to 40 km short range missiles, then medium range up to 120 km missiles, long range going as far as 250 km, and finally very long range missiles up to 400 km. And due to its highly advanced feature and capabilities, the S-400 has emerged as one of the most controversial arms exports of Russia and a major point of contention between Washington and Moscow. So, there has been recent issue regarding the buying of S-400 Triumph with Russia, so that the USA also engaged into the tussle. So, it is very important, S-400 Triumph, it can be asked in prelims point of view. Moving on further, why India purchased this S-400 Triumph missile system? First of all, this S-400 fills important gaps in India's national air defense network. That is quite important, and it would complement India's indigenous ballistic missile defense system. We have 2 indigenous ballistic missile system. One is Pratyutma, that is PAD, and we have Akash Air Defense System AAD. So, it will definitely complement India's ballistic missile defense system, and given its long range, it means that if deployed towards the western borders, the system can track movements of Pakistan Air Force aircraft as soon as they take off from their bases, and it would make up for the falling fighter aircraft squadrons of the Indian Air Force in the medium term. So, the importance of S-400 Triumph for India can be asked in prelims point of view. So, be clear that S-400 missile system is indigenous to Russia, not indigenous to us. We have ballistic missile defense system, that is PAD and AAD, that are indigenous to India, and we have Akash defense system also, that is also indigenous. Moving on further, the second topic is Global Hunger Index 2021, and why it is in news? Because India has slipped to 101 position in the Global Hunger Index 2021 of 116 countries from its 2020 position of 94th. So, the present ranking is 101. And regarding the index, why it is in news is because it is often said that the Global Hunger Index does not reflect India's true picture, as it is a flawed measure of hunger, and it would not be taken at face value, as it is neither appropriate nor representative of hunger prevalent in the country. It is said so. So, in this context, you must know about Global Hunger Index, and it is an annual report published by Concern Worldwide and Wealth Hunger Life. It was first produced in 2006. It is published in every October. The 2021 edition marks the 16th edition of Global Hunger Index, and regarding the aim, it aims to comprehensively measure and track hunger at the global, regional and country levels. And regarding the calculation, it is calculated on the basis of 4 indicators. Keep in mind, all these 4 indicators can be asked in prelims point of view. One is undernourishment, that is share of population with insufficient calorific intake. Second is child wasting and share of children under age 5 who have low weight for their height, reflecting acute undernutrition. And third is child stunting and share of children under age 5 who have low height for their age, reflecting chronic undernutrition, that is child stunting. And finally, child mortality, the mortality rate of children under the age of 5. So these are the facts associated with Global Hunger Index. Moving on further, regarding the scoring. So regarding the scoring, based on the values of the 4 indicators, the Global Hunger Index determines hunger on a 100-point scale, where best possible score, that is no longer it is no hunger, no longer there is hunger, and 100 is the worst score. And each country's Global Hunger Index score is classified by severity from low to extremely alarming. And regarding data collection, undernourishment data are provided by the Food and Agriculture Organization, and child mortality are sourced from UN Interagency Group for Child Mortality Estimation. And child wasting and stunting data are drawn from the joint database of UNICEF and World Health Organization and the World Bank, among others. So you should know India's ranking and why it is debated. All these aspects you should know. And recently we already discussed about multidimensional poverty index by Niti Aayog. So please do refer about this index also. And in this index, Kerala was the best performer and Bihar was the worst performer. That is almost 50% more than people in Bihar are poor. So make sure that you know about multidimensional poverty index also. See, hunger and poverty related topics can be asked in GS2 in social justice paper. So be thorough with the definitions of hunger, poverty and all. And apart from that, keep in mind about these indexes and reports so that you can quote it in your mains answers. So that is important. Moving on further, regarding India's performance in this index, that is Global Hunger Index, since 2000 India has made substantial progress, but there are still areas of concern, particularly regarding child nutrition. Fine. And India's GHI score has decreased from a 2000 GHI score of 38.8 points, considering alarming rate, to a 2021 GHG score of 27.5, considering serious. And the proportion of undernourished in the population and the under 5 child mortality rate are now at relatively low levels. And while child stunting has been a significant decrease from 54.2 to 34.7, comparing 1998 and 2016-18 data, it is still considered very high. And at 17.3, India has the highest child wasting rate of all countries covered in the GHI, Global Hunger Index. And this rate is slightly higher than it was in 1998-1999, when it was 17.1%. And according to the index, only 15 countries far worse than India, keep in mind. And India was almost behind most of the neighboring countries, and Pakistan was placed at 92, Nepal and Bangladesh at 76, Sri Lanka at 65 and all. Please remember all these facts regarding Global Hunger Index. Moving on to the next topic. The next topic is Women Empowerment Scheme. So in PIB yesterday, few schemes regarding women empowerment was quoted. So in this aspect, we'll look into government initiatives that is aimed at empowering women. So India has come a long way from the age of social discrimination against women to the present time, wherein the concepts of women empowerment and gender equality have become key priorities. The Government of India has taken active participation in providing impetus to the establishment of gender equality and women empowerment as envisaged in SDG 5. So the Sustainable Development Goals 1 to 17 have a brief understanding about all the sustainable development goals, and various schemes of the government have intervened to bring in social, educational, economic and political upliftment of women, such as Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, which aims at protecting the interest of girl child, preventing gender-based activities in the society and in various organizations. There is a program called as National Social Assistance Program, and this program of the Ministry of Rural Development facilitated the increase of pension for poor, elderly, disabled widows from rupees 200 to rupees 800. So keep in mind about National Social Assistance Program and Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Apart from that, in PIB, few other schemes are also mentioned. Next is Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana, and it looks after the security of elderly women. And there is a scheme for adolescent girls. So the National Education Policy 2020 also emphasize on gender equity and work towards introducing opportunities for equal access to quality education. To expand the employment opportunities and economic independence of women, the government has provided training in collaboration with Women Industrial Training Institutes, National Vocational Training Institutes, and Regional Vocational Training Institutes. In addition to this, the Government of India also enacted labor codes to assist women to work in congenial and safe environment. And the crime against women has been taken into account, and different legislations have been made to protect the dignity and rights of women, such as the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2018, Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace, that is POSH, Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2016, the Dowry Provision Act are also examples. So just keep in mind about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana, scheme for adolescent girls, National Education Policy, and few training programs, and Criminal Law Act, Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace Act, Prevention of Women from Domestic Violence Act, Dowry Provision Act, etc. So all these can be asked in GS2 related to women vulnerable section, in that women in particular, and in society paper also, in GS paper 1 society paper also, all these aspects can be quoted. Moving on. So even though we are come up with different schemes in order to empower women, there are few limitations or like loopholes still existing. One is, despite a series of legislation being enacted, we witness crime against women rising with every passing day. This is a time when our lawmakers and administrators must ascertain the loopholes that prevail in the implementation of the policies and programs, and most of the time the policy remain decorated in the files, especially in matters related to women's safety, which is a major issue. This must be addressed to increase women participation in schools, colleges, and workplaces. However, India has come a long way when it comes to women participation in various sectors. That is a positive aspect. And the Government of India has decided to implement an umbrella scheme called Mission Shakti, very important regarding women empowerment, which aims to offer an integrated approach for the safety, security, and empowerment of women, and thereby making them equal partners in nation building. And this will be a welcoming step towards the progress of the entire concept of women empowerment. Moving on, the final topic for the day, that is Bijli Utsav. So, in order to celebrate 75 years of independence, Bijli Utsav was organized by REC Limited, a public infrastructure company under Ministry of Power in Assam. So, REC comes under Ministry of Power. Regarding the event, this event highlighted the importance of electricity, challenges faced during the electrification of remote areas, and access to power. Several competitions were held and LED bulbs were distributed to the winners. And regarding REC Limited, it is an NBFC that focuses on financing the power sector and its development across the country. It is engaged in projects such as generation, transmission, distribution, and renewable energy sectors. So that's all for today. Thank you and happy learning.